So yeah, so the COVID thing. Let's talk a bit about the COVID thing that was over there. So yeah, like I was saying, it's interesting how they also. I'm going to try and make some videos as well. You know, sometimes it's just easier to, you just kind of feel, you know what I mean, the expression, the stress, the pain, the desperation, the, like, you know, the concerns, the passion. And sometimes people need to see that. You need to feel that. You need to. I'm just being real. You know, I read somewhere, I do believe online, where St. Mark's did say about, you know, it's going to be now a COVID-free hospital, and that's what the new hospital is. Well, sorry, that's what they quoted that, and I was a little bit choked up actually, if the truth be told, when I read that. Why? Because I believe there was a time when I was there, when it was quite new, when I was there, and COVID practically greeted us with the red carpet. I kid you not. And also times after that too. So you can't make it a COVID-free hospital. So you've decided that we're going to make this a COVID-free hospital, and those are infected. So let's just say it like this, shall we? Let's be real. The uninfected and the infected. But sometimes you get the ones over there that you're sending there anyway because they can't get there. They're uninfected. So if they become infected, they've got no chance of even coming over to you. You've put them in that position because of your new system. Take some responsibility. Take it. Just take it, fix it, change it. But don't act like your new thing is for everybody. Because it's not. Perhaps you ought to do a petition. Ask your patients. Ask them how they feel. I don't doubt they read about how we all feel, like I said, but no one's acting on it. Who cares? So there was a time when there was COVID there, and yes, I was a patient there. I'm going to speak about that time. Everyone was thrown in. Everyone was thrown in the deep end, completely. It was not great. We all know that. I do hope that everybody's made it out safely, and sorry if you've lost anybody, but it was rough, and it's still kind of rough, right? So this particular time, there was a lady that was. I was in a bay, side room, and there was a lady opposite me that wasn't very well. In fact, there was two elderly ladies that weren't very well, and you know, we're still settling. They're still settling in. You can see the things are still very new. You know, they just moved to this hospital. And you know, very beautiful hospital, there's no doubt about that. And you know, it must have been, I don't doubt it was a bit of a shell shock for some of the staff. Can you imagine? Because I know that there's quite a lot of them that stay in the nurses' quarters up at Northwick Pk Hospital. So I can imagine, and just other people, they're travelling quite far, the staff. How incredible are they? Telling you, I have to applaud, because all of it, most of the clapping should go to them, right? Doesn't always go that way, but then that's another story. We'll leave that for another time. But anyway, they done well for what it was. But let's get back to this COVID thing. So there was to these two elderly ladies that were really quite. One of them had quite a certain cough. So you know, naturally because of COVID, you just automatically just think that, oh, you know what I mean? Oh, you think like that, right? But there was another woman that was opposite me. She was quite poorly anyway, and say it was a Thursday, and on this particular Thursday, she I know she became quite quite poorly than normal, like just became very lethargic. She seemed to be very clammy. She seemed to be very just she was complaining of a headache to me. We were very close. She was just not herself, and not that she was coughing, but she wasn't okay. She had more bouts of diarrhea. She wasn't really okay. Now, normally, if we was at Northwick Pk Hospital on IFU ward, if somebody did have diarrhea or anything of that nature, you would naturally remove the source of infection, or what could be, away from the other patients, and they normally are isolated, which we know that, for those that know. But she wasn't anyway. So come the Friday, I think there's a few doctors around her seeing her. Her temperature was sky high. I think they'd probably done some tests and stuff like that. But come the Friday, she really took a bad turn, to be honest. And I mean a sudden bad turn. And I was so, because I was helping her. I was wiping her head. I even bought a little cup like I did for the other patients. I just like, you know, I just wanted to help how I could help, right? I was worried about her. Do you know? Yeah, she deteriorated quickly. You know, she was that poorly so suddenly that I remember she was delusional almost as well, like slipping, you know what I mean, that way. And I do remember saying to her, calling her name and saying to her that I was concerned about her. I told her that I was going to start recording her. She could hear me. And I told her I'm going to send her the video. I wouldn't have said that for the fun of it, or for hits on YouTube. I said it for a reason. Do you know this lady, come the weekend, she wasn't good at all. She was really bad. And I still tried to help, you know. I still tried to do bits for her still, you know, not even knowing that if she had COVID or not. I didn't even think about COVID, you know. I wasn't even thinking about that, because in those wards, you know, we all get certain infections anyway. So that's the last thing I was thinking about. However, come the Monday morning, the breakfast. So the ward has got it's like a glass, all glass at the front. So all the staff are passing. The staff room's there, so they're all passing. You can see them, and it was quite strange. It was surreal. It was. You know, staff members were walking by, and I clicked that something. What was odd is the fact that half of them was just walking by, and they were kind of trying not to look. Just that's how it was. It just felt something was off. Something was off. Then when I attempted to go outside to the breakfast lady, as I normally would, I was sort of ushered back into the room. Get back in. I was like, well, what's going on? No, get back in. No, what's going on? How about that? And they were just very much like, just like the doctors will come, whoever's going to come and talk to you in a moment. I'm like, and now that they've said that, you can imagine, I was like, well, whoa, what's going on? I'm not going back in that room. You know, you got 3 seconds to get someone here now, because whatever is going on in there, whether it's infection or whatever, I'm just going to start walking around the wards. Get someone here now. So someone did come, and they, you know, said that somebody in our bay had contracted COVID, and it was the lady that was in front of me. I didn't think it was. I thought it was the other lady in the corner on her side because of the cough she had, but it wasn't her. It was the lady that was in front of me. But come the Monday, she broke this fever or sweat or little bug that I thought she had. So she was kind of getting back to normal, though she still needed a little bit of, maybe vitamins or I don't know. But she broke it. Anyway, so they obviously said what they said, and then before you know it, Everyone's PP'd up, and it was. Listen, I'll get to that bit in a minute. But before you know it, then she quickly sort of like said to me, she was terrified when they spoke to her, you know, and that was, and I felt so helpless, because she was just like, you know, she was like saying, Kiki, what, you know, Kiki, like, what's happening to me, like, Kiki, like, am I gonna die, like, what, you know, can you tell my husband, like, what, you know, it was terrifying. I said, no, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. You know, and I just remember how terrified she was. I just remember how terrified she was. I just remember how alone she was. I just remember how... And the next thing you know, before her things even got packed, but they were in the process of being packed, then the transport people they've already come to take the bed, and so obviously they must have known she had COVID. That would have just been planned just like that in that second, so that maybe the results came in whether they came in, but it makes sense that really they wouldn't have done much within that bay, because we could have all been infected, right? So who knows when they really knew about that. So they took her, you know, she just looked at me like so helplessly. I just felt so bad. Especially because we're so close, like I just felt, it just hurt me, you know, and I just kept saying, it's going to be okay, I'll see you soon. So after they took her, it's just us three left. And so you can imagine we're all like, you know, everyone's drawing their curtains and trying to keep themselves safe and all that sort of stuff. And, you know, it was what it was, wasn't it? It was what it was. If we're going to be infected, we're infected. Isn't it? We can't be, what am I going to do? There's nothing I can do about that. I'm in the hospital. It's what it is. I just felt like, but however, what was disturbing, like I said, was the fact that those symptoms that she had on the Thursday that really came out on the Friday, the chronic diarrhea that she had, the high temperature that she had, she was feverish, the loss of appetite, all those things were not just cause for them to isolate her. Probably couldn't do that because there probably wasn't any rooms to put her in. So even if they thought for a minute that she could have had it, but why wouldn't they think that? Then there's nothing they were going to do at that point, because they thought, well, the rest of them are in there, so they're going to have to wait it out, obviously. So we was all remaining in the room anyway. We all stayed there, and it was just a case of, you know, swabbing us and seeing how that went. And I do remember whilst we were in there, you know. It was quite heartbreaking, you know, because here's the thing, I've known a lot of those team players for years, you know, for years. I don't know, 17, 18, 19, 20, years. And maybe some less as well. But you know what hurt me? What bothered me is that obviously everyone was double PP'd up and stuff like that, you know, like way over the top. You know, you think that they was going to, you know, like beehives, you know, like you wear the whole gear. Look, it was really odd, like, you know, like like that movie, like, you know, Contagious or Virus. It was terrifying enough to see them like that, some people like that. But fair play, you have to protect your family, your loved ones and stuff like that. But you know something? It wasn't really our staff that came in to take care of us, to do our obs or to do certain things, you know. It really wasn't those ones that you would normally see every day, that would normally talk to you, that would normally be there for you, that would be coming in doing the normal stuff with their patients. It wasn't many of those faces you saw come in at all. It was freaking agency staff they got in. Yeah. Of course you don't want to risk yourself, right? However, it's funny that because we were screened before we came into the hospital. We were COVID free. So those same ones that are trying to protect themselves from us are the same ones that gave it to us. Could only be, right? That's just what it is. And you know, God bless them agency staff. They just got on with it like he wasn't even infected. Made our beds and did everything. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it was awful. It wasn't a great scene. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you know, even the people to change the water, even just as simple as of things, they weren't coming in. Some things they weren't doing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we needed special services. Listen, I was quite comical about some things, and I believe I did have a you know, the board game of, you know, Boggle, but they do the card one, right? So what are the odds? But I had the cards. So I wrote out, I must upload the video, and I wrote out, like, you know, needs water. And I stuck it on the glass, needs water. Though I was laughing about it. What's so funny about that? Why have you, how have you just abandoned us like that? Because you're concerned about contracting this virus. But which is what I don't understand. I get it. We already know that about the virus, but it's a virus. Now they are trained in. They're not, this isn't just any nurses here. They're aseptic, you know, their aseptic procedures, and the way they aseptically clean things. Well, that's like surgically clean. So they know how to minimize bugs, germs. They're trained. They know. You know that if someone is contagious, you remove the contagion and remove it. We was left on our own. They weren't just afraid. Of course they must have been afraid. But what about us? Because when they was at Northwick Pk Hospital on IFU ward, you can get some deadly viruses, right? Right, let's put COVID for aside for a second. But you get some deadly viruses. Whether it's E. coli or these other, do you know what I mean, the MRSA, and look how many other viruses that are serious. And you know, because you know how they PPE up. You know how the way they take off all them bits and they remove that and they take the things out of there and the plastic, the things they use and people are in isolation. We know that. They're trained. They know what they're doing. How come you forgot about all of that training when you got to your new hospital just because COVID was about? I'm not using that word loosely, COVID. But how come you forgot all that training? Look, I get you guys was thrown into it. I don't blame them. If that's the case and they were thrown into it, of course everybody was scared. But we're still your patients, man. We're still your patients. And I can imagine some who wouldn't be afraid. But I still expect that level of healthcare, right? Why would I expect any less? So hey, that's your COVID story. That's your COVID-free hospital. Apparently after I left, COVID greeted them a few times after that. So there you go.